Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Eden Camp Ghost Hunt on the 17th of October. I know we're a bit late, uploading it 2 months later, but better late than never. Before we dive into the investigation, a quick note. Me and Beth filmed our entire 5-hour car journey to the venue. I've sped it up here just so I can do a voiceover, and so it's clean and easy. But if you want to see the full uncut versions with the normal speed and the full sound, let us know in the comments. But a fair warning, we talk a lot and we sing even more. Beth's a good singer, I'm not. So anyway, once we arrived, no filming was allowed inside Eden Camp itself, but we did take plenty of photos, and yes, flight mode was definitely on. Now, let's get into the night. Our first visual began in the Vera Lynn music room, where we used a human pendulum with the guests. The answers came through quickly and clearly. We made contact with a male spirit from the 1940s called Peter, a prisoner who didn't want to remain in the camp. When the communication faded, we moved into several of the surrounding huts, but they all felt quiet and still, as if anything present had stepped back outside of reach. Our second vigil took place in the prisoner of war hut. A guest volunteered for the Estes method while others watched the thermal camera, the K2 and the cat balls, but we received no activity again. We moved into the Rise of Hitler hut and tried scrying. One guest described their reflection changing, first showing short dark hair, then shifting into a full pilot's uniform with a wartime mask. We called out using knocks, cat balls and the flux device, but nothing responded. While we were talking amongst ourselves about whether spirits might share a universal language or not, share in the comments if you believe they do, the flux suddenly lit red as if giving a direct no. When we asked if the spirit wanted us to leave, a cat ball lit instantly. We checked by asking if we should stay instead, and the flux lit red again. A very clear answer. We moved on at that point. For our final vigil, we gathered in the mess hall and opened a Ouija board, inviting only friendly spirits. Nothing came through the board, but the energy in the room felt present. We placed cat balls down the walkway, K2s on separate tables, and the flux device at the far end, and turned on the hexcom as well. When we asked if someone was with us, a cat ball lit up. Through more responses, we learned we were speaking with a male spirit who had a message but wouldn't use the board because they didn't believe he was friendly. When we asked if it was because we had only allowed friendly spirits through, the flux lit green immediately. We discovered he wasn't unfriendly in behaviour, he simply wasn't on the British side. He was an imprisoned enemy soldier. Not shoulder, soldier. I'm sorry, I can't be bothered to edit out my mistakes, so just bear with me. We tried a spirit box and we heard a few small replies, but nothing clear enough to fully interpret. Now for the second group we had. The first vigil began with the cat balls placed among the display cabinets. Tapping sounds answered the questions and guests reported feeling uneasy as shadow figures were seen moving near the cases. Their second vigil took them through several huts until one felt noticeably heavier. Inside, the REM pod activated several times, though they couldn't identify who was present. They moved on and held a Ouija board session where a female spirit stepped forward. She was 45, worked with the wartime signals, gave the surname Hues, and said that she had been engaged to a soldier who died in the war. Their final vigil included 2 guests taking part in the Estes method. They made contact with a soldier who didn't understand why the group was there. He spoke about life during the war and he said he died from a gunshot wound. Thank you to everyone who joined us at Eden Camp. It was a pleasure meeting you all, and we hope that you enjoyed your night with us. I know the thanks is coming late, as I said before, but we thank you anyway. Now, we went on the night with Paranormal Presence Investigations. We visited Eden Camp. It was a very, very good. It has one of the most fascinating wartime histories in the country. The site first opened in 1942 as a prisoner of war camp built to house Italian soldiers captured during the Second World War. Later in the war, the camp took in German prisoners as well, and by the mid-40s it was operating at a full capacity. The layout you see today is almost exactly how it looked during its military years, and trust me, it is amazing there. There's long rows of timber and concrete huts, each one with a specific purpose: accommodation blocks, workshops, mess halls, medical areas, administrative offices. Thousands of men lived, worked, and waited here, far from home and uncertain of their futures. After the war ended, the camp didn't fall silent straight away. The British Army continued using it for training and storage. Over the following decades, the site was taken over by the agricultural businesses and slowly slipped into disrepair. The huts weathered, the grounds overgrew, and most people assumed that the remains would eventually be abandoned, then demolished forever. That changed in the early 1980s, though, when a local businessman purchased the land. Instead of clearing it, he chose to restore it. His vision was to turn the old prison camp into a museum that preserved the everyday reality of wartime Britain. Not just the battles, but the rationing, the fear, the propaganda, the resilience, and the human stories hidden inside each hut. Today, Eden Camp stands as a unique time capsule, a place where history hasn't been polished or rebuilt, but left standing almost exactly as it was. The authenticity is what gives the site its atmosphere, and the moment you step between the huts, you feel the weight of the past around you. And for many visitors, that sense of presence raises the question: if the memory remain, I had a bit of a mind block then. If the memories remain, then do the people, do the spirits of the people that were there? It was very, very interesting. We highly enjoyed it. Ignore me vaping in the videos. I vape. Everybody vapes now, apart from Beth, because she just doesn't do any of that. Anyway, if you wanted to go and see the Eden Camp Modern History Museum in the daytime, they are open as a regular museum with tickets. It sits just outside the town of Moulton in North Yorkshire, so it's right off the A169 and the A64 junction with the postcode YO176RT for your Google Maps or your Waze. It's about 23 miles from York, so it's an easy drive of roughly 25-30 minutes from the city centre. The nearest train station is in Moulton, about 2.2 miles away, with buses and taxis, including Uber, available from there too. Now, without the risk of sounding like a tour guide, because I am not trained enough for that. But it is my recommendation that you go. It's not just a typical display of artifacts in glass cases, it's housed in actual buildings and grounds of a Second World War prisoner of war camp. When else are you going to see something that was built in 1942 and used later? It's been preserved and restored. You should go. Inside, they'll have immersive scenes that recreate the site's sounds and even smells of life on both the home front and the front lines. I'm going to attach some pictures, voila, at the end, but definitely recommend. I hope you enjoyed hearing about our Eden Camp ghost hunt with Paranormal Presence Investigations, and we will